Welcome to The Debate, the physical harassment of popular streamer Emiru at TwitchCon 2025 has, well, forced a really painful evaluation of creators' safety at these live events. Our central question today is this: does the primary responsibility for this ongoing security crisis rest with the event organizers, Twitch and their security protocols, or is this more of an unavoidable systemic risk that's just inherent to the high-exposure creator-fan interaction culture? I'm going to argue that the failure here is operational and institutional, stemming from specific organizational negligence.
And I'm going to come at it from a slightly different angle. I'd argue that while, yes, those operational failures are certainly real, this issue is fundamentally systemic. The structural risk, especially faced by high-profile female creators, it's rooted deep in a toxic fan culture and just the inherent volatility of mass digital exposure.
Right. For me, the failure lies squarely with Twitch's operational execution. I mean, Emiru herself reported that the security response was unacceptable. And she specifically criticized, quote, the fact that the man was able to approach her in the first place. Now, that points directly to, well, insufficient physical barriers, poor crowd control, and frankly, a documented failure in post-incident care. Despite promises from the CEO to take security extremely seriously, the operational defenses just failed completely. They allowed a fan to become an assailant.
That's a critical point, I agree. But I think focusing solely on barriers might be missing the forest for the trees here. This incident, I believe, reflects a really deep-seated crisis of confidence. It shows the risk is structural. I mean, look, we saw streamers like Valkyrae and Cutie Cinderella withdraw from the event before this even happened, citing profound anxiety. That demonstrates the threat level is already perceived as unmanageable by some key creators. No single security checkpoint, no matter how robust, can fully combat the volatility generated by mass fan exposure and the, frankly, pervasive harassment against women online spilling into the real world.
Okay, I agree. The culture contributes to that anxiety, absolutely. But that doesn't excuse the immediate operational failures we saw here. Let's look at the fixable failures. Emiru stated the removal of the aggressor was slow, and critically, no security staff checked on her afterward. That failure in, rapid, trained response and just basic protocol adherence, that's a tangible organizational fix. It demands dedicated teams, better training specific to the dynamics of these high-contact creator interactions.
I hear you on the training, but I'm just not convinced that better training alone solves the systemic problem. The risk is chronically underestimated, I think, because organizers maybe fundamentally misunderstand the pervasive sense of ownership some fans feel towards creators. We have historical examples. Remember the disturbances caused by affiliates from rival platforms back in 2024? That shows the problem precedes any single event security plan. This demands real culture change, fan education on interaction limits. It's not just about marginally better barricades or slightly faster responses.
Look, professionalization demands that physical safety protocols, things like mandatory scanning, contractual guarantees maybe, they must accompany business growth. If these basics aren't met, the cost is the loss of creator trust and participation. Emery publicly stated this would be her last TwitchCon. I mean, that is a massive organizational failure impacting the event's future viability, its ability to attract top talent. How can they ignore that?
That's a compelling argument about viability, definitely. But the fundamental tension, it remains. Even with improved protocols, organizers are caught between wanting that desired fan proximity, which, let's be honest, drives engagement and ticket sales, and guaranteeing absolute physical integrity for the creators. Unless we address the underlying fan culture that seems to legitimize these boundary violations, these high-contact meet and greets will likely remain an unavoidable risk zone, particularly for highly visible female creators, no matter how many security guards you hire.
Well, the video evidence confirms that the physical event infrastructure failed here, and the post-incident support mechanisms were basically non-existent. So for me, the priority has to be concrete, visible improvements in physical security and immediate, robust support systems to hopefully restore creator confidence in the platform's ability to actually protect them.
And while those organizational upgrades are clearly necessary, yes, the community must also reflect on how fan culture normalizes these unacceptable boundary approximations. The long-term solution, I think, requires platforms to give female creators more voice in designing their own interactions and initiating deep cultural change alongside physical security improvements. It has to be both.
Indeed. This incident, it really serves as a painful reminder that the gap between the glamour of these streaming events and the harsh reality of creator vulnerability remains dangerously wide. It demands serious reflection on who guarantees safety in this rapidly expanding creator economy.